Is your company ready for AI? Today I'm here again with Joe. How are you, Joe?
Hello, Margot. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good, thanks. So we are going to discuss about a big topic. Is like we've seen around us, and it may be your case as well. A lot of companies like rushing into AI and telling us like, I need to do AI, I need to put AI, just doing AI for the sake of AI.
Sure.
It's good because there is a very good interest into this topic, and many people that were not tech people are super interested into basically implementing and adding AI into their processes. So I really think it's a good move, but not all the companies are ready for AI, and so we are going to discuss.
Not jumping on the train at the same pace. Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to discuss today about how do you like assess if you're ready or not, and how can you actually follow the right steps to build, like to identify how to, like where to put AI and to build the right projects.
Yeah, I mean, philosophically speaking, what does it mean to be ready for AI? You know, and if you ask 10 people in a room, you can get 10 different answers. I think, because you'll have people telling you my technology is not ready. I don't have the right technology. Okay. Other people will tell you my data is not ready. I think we had a full episode on that. Others might tell you what for? I don't need AI. I'm really doing great with what the tools I have today. So there's no real answer, general answer. And what you'll see is not everyone is adopting the same way, the same pace. Yeah. Not everyone's in the same stage of that journey. And then so we tried to bring an answer to that by structuring it a little bit. So first block, if you want, is the strategic foundation. So do you have your use cases? And do you have management buy-in, right? Do you have budget? Is the board green lighting your plan? Do you have a plan?
Yeah.
So it's good to have
a
plan.
Good start.
Yeah. And did you get the use cases, right? Did you kind of document and formalize use cases? And that's usually where everyone is starting, and that's what we're seeing across the board. Today, most of the companies that are serious about it or want it started there. So it's reassuring. Yeah. It comes with new challenges as well, because we've seen the same people telling us, okay, but now I have no clue where to go from there. I have, again, beautiful slides, but I need to take it one level, and I need to transform those use cases into operational use cases. How do I proceed? Yeah. How do I implement, right? Yeah. And then comes the second bit. And then when you look into the implementation of those strategic foundations, you want to look at the technical data aspect. So do I have the right data? Is my data ready? Yeah. Is it ready for what my ambitions are? Those use cases we defined earlier. So that's very good. Yes or no, and depending. And is it perfect? Do we need it to be perfect?
Do we need it?
Do I have the right technologies? Infrastructure. Can it scale? Can I compute, right? And can I make it still cost effective? And is it really AI that I need? You know? Yeah. I mean, today, everything, you have a headache, put some AI on the headache. I mean, it's not always the solution of everything, right? And third is, the third pillar we look into is, of course, the more operational, operating model kind of aspect for AI, which is the governance, right? Trust. Yeah. And by trust, it means safe and ethical and transparent. Transparency, we talked about the black boxes and opening the black box. And the people side. The people understand what are the implications. So you gave the example in an episode about using my own retail version of ChatGPT with company data. Do I know what are the stakes? Do I know what I'm doing? What are the risks? So the literacy aspect. And why do I need data governance? What is data ready? What does AI implies, and the transformation? So the maturity and literacy. And then finally, the one thing that we oversee a lot or overlook, an area that gets overlooked, is the processes. Yeah. So transformation, because there was an example. It was interesting. Apparently, in hospitals, I think in the US, the fax is the main mode of communication, apparently. Okay. Something like that, I don't know. Yeah. That is a story. And that's apparently the number one mode of communication between departments and whatnot. So imagine today, can you put on AI into that process with the fax, right? So you gotta make sure, that's for the anecdote, but you got to look at your processes and you need to reinvent maybe the way you do business so you can plug in AI. It's not just a question of, okay, I will remove 3 employees and put a bot. That's not always the answer either. So reinventing your processes. And then if you look at your processes are ready, your AI is ready, you have the right technology, you have the right use case and so on, you can maybe say you're ready for AI, I guess, maybe. But yeah, that's kind of the structure.
But still, I don't think you need to be like, to have 5 stars on it, you know. But I think it's a very good start for the discussion because you need to at least ask yourself the question about where you are in this and see where you can find like big gaps, and usually there are some, let's be very honest.
Exactly.
But maybe let's differentiate 2 things. The first thing is the usage of Gen AI actually as an employee for time saving, etc., etc., and then the usage of AI or Gen AI, but AI in general, in your company processes as a product that you can sell, etc., etc. And I think the principles you're stating are more for the second part, so maybe let's focus on this. It's really how can I actually implement proper AI or Gen AI in my processes, etc., more than can my employees use ChatGPT, just for the clarification. So yeah, I think it's a very... these steps cover like obviously everything that people need to ask themselves, and I think it's important because you talked about executive buy-in, which is it has always been the case in transformation. Whatever the topic was, is like it needs to come from the top, like otherwise it doesn't work. So that's a very good thing. But as well, what I found interesting, and I see that a lot, is there are many people who. So there are 2 things. One is they want to put AI. And they found this product that looks super cool. So they're like, okay, I need this product. But then they don't ask really the end user, was it actually a pain point? So is it going to be used? Honestly, it's money wasted. So, you know, I think it's important to see if you're mature, to look into where are my pain points in the company. That's the first thing. Start by this. And then see if it is AI, if the solution is AI. Because usually, and you mentioned it, is so I'm working with a company right now about their the planning of their teams. The solution may be only automation of the processes. So for you, it will be for the hospital you were mentioning. It's like maybe replace the fax part, you know, of the process, and maybe that's the solution, and that's fine. Maybe it's okay not to put AI everywhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think this is important as well.
Exactly. Not everything can be solved with AI. Not everyone wants to do AI either, and it doesn't always make business sense, right? It's about the challenge. It's about creating value. Otherwise, why are we doing it? And if you're doing it just for the communication and the slogans, then that's a different story. But it starts there, and we see too often, and not only with AI. It was the same in digital. It was I remember because I was in digital and e-commerce 15 years ago, where we actually had at the time to convince people to have a website, a brochure website, not even e-commerce. They're like, why do I need to be online? And look where we are today, right? So maybe 10 years from now, it will be the same. You know, everyone will be using AI everywhere. Maybe not. But you have to convince them, and people will tell you, I don't know, why do I need this? And then you build the case and you have a use case, and maybe you don't. Maybe not everyone needed an e-com website 15 years ago. Maybe not everyone needed even a website, which I don't really believe so. But you know, so it has to answer a need. It's AI for the sake of AI doesn't work and has been proven. You cannot, as a data team or an IT team, you cannot push on the business solutions. It's the other way around. You are a support function. You have to support a specific solution for a challenge to create value with your business counterpart. So AI for the sake of AI doesn't work. AI needs a purpose, and this is where the use case and all that comes in. And we've seen too many cases where tech just want to showcase, and how you approach AI as well, right? How you approach any technological innovation is key, because if you approach it with figures, it's growing 2 double digits, the market is booming, there's an estimation of, 90% adoption, all companies, our competitors are doing it, we have to do it. And then you jump into a demo of a product and your business counterpart is like, but I don't understand, why do I need this? Why are you showing me this? What's the difference with what I have today? It does a good job.
Yeah. Then,
you're trying to force AI into your organization. It won't work.
It's a matter of the execution as well, I guess. It's like, for example, you can, if I understand what you're saying, you can have a product, let's say, I don't know, an automated predictive dashboard. Let's keep something super simple. And maybe there is a need in reporting, so that's good. You have the pain point, as we were saying. But then you need to start somewhere and you need to show value.
Yeah.
And maybe you see that actually the investment that you're going to put in this tool doesn't show, when I talk about value, I talk about proper value. Like either it can be like time saving or money gained, but it has to be valuable. So there is something about the execution as well that has always been there with data and AI use cases, but it has to be done step by step, starting with a POC or an MVP, testing it. And maybe it looks cool, maybe people find it super easy to use, etc., but it doesn't fit well in the process, doesn't answer the exact need, then just drop it.
100%.
And it doesn't, 100%.
I think the way you implement your use case, and this is key, right? So we said at the beginning, a lot of organizations have already identified what are their use case. Some have been labeled as hero and stand out from the noise, amazing. But then how do you implement it? Do you already from day one start with 7 figures investments into those use cases? No, start small. And we like to say, do a POC, right? Prove that it actually can be done with AI or whatever technology. So proof of concept, prove the technology part. Start very small and focus. You've proven that it works, then take it to the business and do a proof of value. That's how we call it then, the POV, where you sit with the business and say, give us a use case. We believe that is that the right use case and so on. We have a capability that works.
Yeah.
And then you align everyone on that use case, start small again, using kind of a prototype approach, and you prove that this can solve the value at a very small scale. Then you go into a scale enablement implementation, right? Yeah. So that step-by-step approach allows you to de-risk your initiatives, allows you to go to the board with a tangible case where you've practiced, you put it in place, and you have real figures from real case. And then the scale, you have champions that will help you scale that in the rest of the organization. You're not going at it on your own, trying to push adoption.
Yeah, and the people part is key. Actually, you were saying the champions part. But
because it's not about tech, right? AI
exactly.
is not about tech.
Yeah, it's about business and people, actually,
100%.
mainly. So, I mean, only. There is as well a regional thing I wanted to talk to you about. So we said it in the previous episodes, but as well here, there are many companies, not all, many companies that are getting very excited with AI, and that's good, as we were saying.
Yes,
but the basics may not be in place as well. So what's your point of view on this? Should they rush into AI and it's good because it's going to make them accelerate on the basics as well? Or should we not demotivate them, but like, should we push back a bit and be like, okay, you know what? Let's start with the basics. You need to automate, you need to blah, 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 to have your data fixed, etc. Or like, what do you think would be the right approach? Is AI a good motivation to accelerate and maybe you'll skip some steps, but you may actually implement AI more quickly? Or should you still like follow the step-by-step thing?
Yeah, it's about finding a balance between tactical, short-term gains, and more strategic thinking, right? Limiting the technical debt and building solid foundation for the future. It's finding that balance between the two worlds. And don't forget, you have a board and a management that you need to convince and show results. They're going to trust you or trust a committee with a budget to drive that AI transformation and AI initiatives. But you have your competition as well. I mean, why are you doing this, right? You're doing this, you want to gain new customers, improve the customer experience. You want to be more efficient than your competitors and things like that. So you also got to look at what pace the others are doing.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a lot of factors affecting that. And often you don't have time. I mean, in an ideal world, build it brick by brick, take your time, build the foundations from scratch and go. But often it's not realistic, is it? So because of the change environment, the change of priorities, the circumstances, and now more than ever, we saw in the past few months how volatile the market conditions can be, right? So it's really being tactical while not losing. So start small, think big, right? I mean, it sounds cliche, but it is. And being able to start small with and maybe taking some shortcuts, but you learn along the way. And you keep pushing and building on the momentum while you don't lose sight of what is needed for the long term, building a proper data platform if you're starting from scratch, building the right components of the data platform. But again, you don't have to build everything from everything from the get-go. You can build what you need for that use case, and jump from a use case to a use case. And when we go talk about operationalization of the use cases implementation, you have to look at the sequencing. What use case can help build on a second use case, and those two use cases together can unlock maybe 3 other use cases without having to invest in more capabilities on your platform, for example. So thinking of all of those aspects can help in that brilliant execution.
Yeah. What I see is that this topic has always been there. But today there is a momentum. It's like, it's there, it's one of the key topics in the boardrooms. So I think let's say as a manager, for example, it will be easier now in the coming months to convince your leadership to invest into AI, because everyone is like, we need to do AI. And behind this AI word, actually you're going to put like all the basics that needs to be set up and that maybe were not set up before because it was difficult to show value, etc. So maybe to sum up, and please add your thoughts as well, but I think there is this momentum around AI that is good, and we need to go. We need to take it. We need to. There is a big momentum right now, so it's good that we take it. But now, key questions. You mentioned the maturity assessments, so it's good to ask yourself the question: are you ready for AI? And actually, I will go even further. It's like, I think you need to ask yourself the question, like, where are my pain points? Is AI actually what I need? Maybe not. And maybe it will take more time, But I think it's good that you start with your business problem and you focus on value. It's really useless and counterproductive to just put there AI that is either not at the right place in your company, in the right process, or is not adding any value, just to do AI, useless. So look at your pain points and focus on value. And I think that will be the main things I would suggest. And as well, educate and make sure the company and the people grow, because they will be the one identifying where you can put AI. They will be the one helping you innovate about this. So that will be, I think, my conclusion.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. You're spot on. And looking back, actually, for what you're saying is actually what's happening in the market. If you look at 23 and 22, most of those years, teams were playing around, experimenting. There was curiosity around AI.
Yes.
So that transformed into this enthusiasm and distraction, and they played around with AI. Now organizations have started, number one, literacy programs. So upskilling the people so they understand what's AI. If you don't know where to start, or you don't have an immediate need for AI, at least start by literacy, because one day or the other it's going to come, right? So increase literacy. Make sure your leadership understands the importance of AI and when not to use, when to use, how to use AI, because it's also through the leadership's vision that you can actually have impactful AI, and then pilots, run pilots, and we've seen pilots happening a lot in the past 2 years. I think there's even death by 1,000 pilots, and a lot of organizations just having pilots all the time, never scaling, and that's another challenge. How do you go from pilot to scale? And then investing as a third stage, invest in those foundation in order to scale once you've proven that value from those pilots. Yeah,
so be curious, test, try. Invest, and focus
invest
on
for
value.
scale. And keep value in mind, exactly.
Amazing. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Margot.